Opener. How the ultra-wealthy hurt a nation's GDP Part 3. The rich, especially the ultra-rich, cause stagnation in the economy. This because the rich, even the ultra-wealthy, cannot match the spending of the millions of people who don't have access to the money that the rich are hoarding. Let's do the math. Take a billionaire like Bezos. Let's say he's only worth $100 billion. I imagine he's worth more, but let's just say he's only worth $100 billion. So, that's 1 times $1,000 million that is not circulating in the economy in the year 2025. That money is not creating jobs. It's not building factories. It's not doing anything but making Bezos richer. That's because it's most likely being invested long term, which means he's not even paying taxes on it. That money is doing nothing for anyone other than Jeff Bezos. And while some out there will argue that that money should only benefit Bezos, I would rebut with that would be fine. If that process caused no harm to others, especially such a large group of others it negatively impacts around the world. For Bezos to have more than his fair share of the pie, the rest of us must have less than our fair share, something that has already been discussed on this blog. For now, however, consider how much money Jeff must spend just to survive year after year. He's gotta eat, let's say 3 meals a day. He's gotta drink something every day, and he gotta spend money for transportation to get to and from work, and he's gotta have a place to sleep. Those are the same basics we all need to survive. Now, even if every meal he eats costs $10,000, could that $30,000, which would represent 3 meals a day for Bezos in this hypothetical scenario, equal how much money those who are starving in America would spend on food daily? Let's say those suffering from food insecurity daily only spend $10 per meal. That would be $30 per day. And let's guess that there are only 1 million starving people in America. That's $30 million spent on food per day as opposed to the $30,000 Bezos would spend in a day. Even if those people only spent $1 a day on food, that still means $1 million spent on food per day as opposed to Bezos's $30,000. And the same goes for any liquids the various parties may drink per day as well as any travel expenses. Even if Jeff flies to work in a helicopter, could the cost of that helicopter ride match the amount of gas his Amazon employees spend to get to work? Let alone the millions of people cited earlier in this example. Bezos can only wear 1 shirt at a time, 2 shoes at any given time, and a single pair of pants. Even if he changed his clothes 3 times a day, millions of people would still outpace the cost of Jeff's wardrobe. Let's say an average pair of shoes costs $30, but Jeff only wears shoes that cost $10,000 a pair. Even at the exorbitant cost of $10,000, Jeff would still have to change his shoes 3,000 times per day to match the million pairs of $30 shoes the rest of example group wears. Similar results would hold for his shirts, pants, meals, gas, and any other expenses we must all cover on a daily basis. Now I get that the examples in this post may be redundant, but it seems to me that too few people are paying attention to something I see as obvious. So repetitive will my posts remain. Ultimately, people like Bezos may buy something like a 200-foot yacht for $250 million, but that still won't stimulate the economy. First off, the $250 million price tag for his yacht is only equivalent to the cost of 8,333 cars if the average cost of a car was only $30,000. It doesn't even come close to matching the amount that would be spent if instead of only 8,333 cars, a million cars were bought. So, even spending extravagantly on yachts and helicopters and cars, Jeff's billions can't match our daily spending. The yacht was sold to Bezos a few years ago, and the yacht builder was made richer and has since hoarded his profits so that money isn't circulating in the economy. In the end, the economy is not helped by the excess wealth held by the rich. Arguably, it probably causes more harm than good as resources are artificially made scarce as people like Bezos extract those funds needed to purchase necessities out of the economy. This would be one of the primary arguments opposing the validity of Jeff's money only serving Jeff.
Oh yes, I'm the Bezos. I'm the bestest.
There are plenty of people reporting and complaining about our leaders and their failures. How many, however, are offering or even pointing to any solutions? The book, Solutions, Enough Complaining, Let's Fix America by Chris Osman does and can be found on Amazon or at www.mikesonsentertainment.com. To find out other ways you're being screwed by your current leaders, check out the posts on this blog daily. Learn about the biggest and worst issues that America and its people face today. You can also check into this blog daily to hear about those issues that America and its people will face in the near and distant future. If, however, you would like to discover possible solutions to either mitigate the worst impacts of these issues or solutions to avoid them altogether, keep listening. The problems we face are not as complicated as so many leaders and news reports claim. They are man-made and are only claimed as complicated so those who are responsible can maintain control. For example, there is a persistent argument that moving government is like turning a cruise ship around. It is supposedly a long process that can only be achieved incrementally. While this may be true for laws and policies that benefit the majority of Americans, it does not seem to be so for that smallest of American minorities. When one examines the policies and laws that benefit that minority known as the elite or the rich, the speed at which those laws are passed is exponentially faster. While most of us sit on the deck chairs waiting for the Titanic to avoid the myriad of icebergs of which we seem to continually run afoul, the elite ride comfortably in speedboats. If, according to the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal, why do the rich live quite different lives than the rest of us? Where is our speedboat? In 2018, Chris Osman wrote a book highlighting the problems humanity would face if more power, wealth, and control were funneled to a small group of individuals, groups, or organizations. In that book, Mr. Osman provides solutions offered up from himself and others to the inevitable problems we would all face. In it, he also provided a means for the public to analyze, compare, and contrast the words and deeds of those we've chosen to follow against our real-world experiences. To this end, Mr. Osman provides the means for readers to disseminate information as provided by their news sources of choice, their elected officials, and any other authority they choose to follow. The book, titled Solutions, Enough Complaining, Let's Fix America, offers a means to hold leaders up, not just to a higher standard than is currently accepted, but to one that will improve lives. If gluttony has become a virtue these days, then I'm one of the most virtuous people you will ever meet. Click the link below and get your copy of Solutions today.